Have you ever felt like the more you understand the world, the more disconnected you become from it? Like the deeper you think, the harder it is to relate to those around you? If so, you're not alone. The truth is, society has always struggled with deep thinkers, not because they are wrong, but because they challenge the very foundations people stand on. Throughout history, some of the most brilliant minds were dismissed, feared, or even condemned. Socrates was forced to drink poison. Galileo was branded a heretic. Nietzsche was labeled insane. Not because they lacked intelligence, but because they saw the world in ways others weren't ready to accept. But why does this happen? Why does society push away those who think differently? To answer this, we need to dive into human psychology. Think about this. When you meet someone who is physically strong, you don't necessarily feel weak. You may even admire their strength. When you see someone who is wealthy, you might feel envious, but you don't feel personally attacked. But intelligence? That's different. Psychologists call this the mirror effect. A deep thinker doesn't just present new ideas, they force people to confront their own limitations, and that makes people uncomfortable. Instead of curiosity, deep thinkers often meet resistance. Instead of engagement, they find dismissal. It's not because their ideas lack merit, but because their presence alone can shake people's perception of themselves. But why is intelligence so threatening? Unlike physical strength or material success, intelligence challenges identity. Most people define themselves by their beliefs, their understanding of the world. When a deep thinker introduces a new way of seeing things, it forces others to question what they've always assumed to be true. And for many, that's terrifying. This is why history repeats itself. Society resists change not because it is wrong, but because change is uncomfortable. People are wired to seek stability, not disruption. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever tried to bring up a deep conversation in a group only to be met with silence or awkward laughter? Have you ever noticed how discussions stay at the surface level, small talk, entertainment, gossip, while bigger ideas are ignored? This isn't an accident. It's a psychological defense mechanism. When people encounter someone who thinks deeply, their minds go into self-preservation mode. They dismiss, deflect, or even ridicule. Not because they don't understand, but because understanding would require them to change. Ironically, research shows that confidence is often valued more than intelligence in social settings. People are naturally drawn to those who speak with certainty, even if their ideas are simplistic. That's why charismatic but shallow thinkers often gain influence, while deep thinkers struggle to find an audience. The paradox of intelligence. The more deeply you understand reality, the more disconnected you may feel from those who don't. The more you seek truth, the more you see how much of society is built on illusion. And that can be isolating. Studies in neuroscience confirm this. When people feel intellectually challenged, their brain's fear center, the amygdala, activates, treating new ideas as threats. But why would intelligence trigger the same fear response as physical danger? Because for most of human history, survival wasn't about being the smartest. It was about fitting in. Our ancestors lived in tribes where acceptance meant safety. Questioning the group could lead to rejection, and rejection could mean death. This is why human brains are wired for social harmony over intellectual pursuit. The more intelligent someone is, the more they disrupt that balance. They don't just introduce new ideas, they disrupt the comfort of certainty. A 2021 Stanford study revealed something fascinating. People are far more receptive to deep thinkers in private, one-on-one conversations than in group settings. Why? Because in a group, status and social perception take priority. If someone feels outshined by an intellectual, they instinctively try to undermine or ignore them to protect their social standing. This explains why deep thinkers often find meaningful conversations in private, but struggle in larger social environments. Psychologists have identified several biases that reinforce this resistance. The Dunning-Kruger effect. Those who know little often overestimate their knowledge, while highly intelligent people tend to doubt themselves. This creates friction. Those with shallow understanding feel confident, while those who see complexity hesitate. Status quo bias. The human brain prefers familiar ideas over new, disruptive truths. Intelligence often introduces complexity that people resist. The backfire effect. When people are confronted with information that contradicts their beliefs, they don't reconsider. They double down. The digital age has made this worse. Social media doesn't reward deep thought. Algorithms prioritize engagement, which means fast, emotional, and often misleading content spreads more easily than thoughtful, nuanced discussions. This is why surface-level influencers thrive, while deep thinkers struggle to gain attention. People don't want complexity, they want certainty. They don't want to think deeply, they want to feel validated. So what does this mean for deep thinkers? It means understanding the challenge you face. Intelligence will always be met with resistance because it forces people to confront uncomfortable truths. But that doesn't mean you should stop thinking deeply. Society may resist change, but it also needs those who challenge it. Without deep thinkers, there would be no progress, no evolution, no breakthroughs. So if you've ever felt like your thoughts make you an outsider, remember this: you're not alone, and the world needs people like you more than ever.